Now to our morning Newsmax crime report today. California's parole board is facing a lot of backlash after voting to release violent sex offenders. They were serving life sentences through the state's elderly parole programs, part of this broader push by California progressives to shrink the prison population. It's really raising alarm among a lot of law enforcement officials, as you might imagine. Crime correspondent Jason Mattera has more in this special report.
We're talking children as young as 3 to the age of 7, molesting them.
In 1995, Sacramento prosecutors say David Funston lured a 5-year-old girl into his car with candy, drove her to a secluded area, and forced her to perform a sexual act. He then punched the little girl and shoved her from the vehicle. His sentence? Life in prison. It looked like justice until it wasn't.
When we go in and try and protect the public from these vile human beings who are going to harm the people we should protect the most, our children who are playing outside, we are shut down by the Board of Parole Hearings and shut down by these other progressive groups.
Funston was granted early release under California's elderly parole program, which gives inmates a shot at parole once they turn 50 and serve at least 20 years. The 64-year-old Funston was set to walk free on February 26th.
He was nearly walking out the back door of the prison. Fortunately, there is a very sharp DA, district attorney in Placer County, that realized they had pending charges against Funston and arrested him at the prison grounds as he was being released.
Funston is now back behind bars awaiting trial on a new charge tied to a 1996 sexual assault against a child. But California residents may not be so lucky with Gregory Vogelsang, who served only 27 years of a 355-year sentence before the parole board approved of his release.
After he forcefully sexually assaulted 6 young boys between the ages of 5 and 11. And yet the parole board is letting him out. And they're letting him out under one of the most horrible, unjust laws that we have in the state of California. Elder parole.
The whole purpose of elderly parole is to depopulate the prisons. And these are the wrong guys to let out early.
And that push to thin out prisons of violent child sex offenders is now colliding with public outrage, forcing California's parole board to take another look at Vogelsang's release as community pleas to keep him locked up are pouring in.
Protect us, please.
What makes the case of Gregory Vogelsang even worse is this. The Sacramento DA's office tells us a risk assessment found that Vogelsang, who is only 57, not exactly a senior citizen, found him to be an above-average risk to reoffend. And yet, Shannon, the California Parole Board voted to release him. Now, amongst the backlash, they're saying they're not going to revoke that release. Instead, Shannon, they said they're going to revisit it. So this guy very well could be out of prison sometime this year if they don't revoke it entirely.
This is so shocking, and it's nice to see some of the residents who are impacted by this stepping up and speaking out, demanding protection. Elder parole programs, is this an only in California kind of thing? And at the age of 50, there's a lot of living, a lot of molesting to be done at the age of 50.
Yeah, so it used to be you had to be 60 years old and serve 25 years. Gavin Newsom signed a law that reduced it to only 50 years old. 50 years old, you're not a senior citizen.
Right.
And to 20 years. And again, couple that young age with a status of the prison saying you still have a risk of reoffending.
Right.
Why are you letting these guys out? It's absolutely outrageous.
Shocking.
And shocking.
Shocking. And you know what I have to say, once again, stories like this, only Jason Mattera covers them. We appreciate you as always. That's going to do it for today's edition of News Now. I'm Shannon Cake. We'll be right back here tomorrow.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.